Janie got a gun. The dog may just begun. And everybody is on a run.
All right, Steven.
What did her daddy do? It's Janie's last IOU. It all started out with this guy having such a huge conglomerate, and named Youth Villages, it's all over the United States, and we just put a little birdie in his ear that I'd like someday to do something called Janie's House, and we couldn't at first because someone else had it, and then someone came along and said, instead of Janie's got a gun, how about Janie's got a fund? We love that. We'll never find out who came up with that.
No.
Long and involved. And then it happened. First house. Now, last week we opened up another house in Memphis, Tennessee. And it's just been one miraculous event after another to help these girls.
I think that dealing with abuse is something that we now can talk about. And I think that now that we have the opportunity to do more and more about it, we should recognize that the majority of women have been sexually abused, which means that a lot of men have been involved in this. And it means that a lot of young boys have been abused and we're not talking about it, which means that almost everyone has in some way been touched by sexual abuse, which means that it shouldn't be a language that we don't use every day and discuss openly and finally decide what's a misdemeanor, what's a felony, what's mental illness, and how can we alleviate this so that our children in the future are not abused. This is a very simple formula and something we need to take a look at. Yes, I think Stephen's done a wonderful and beautiful thing. It's the power of open-mindedness, the power of the word, and the power of compassion. And it will become the power of the law when at some point we have a president who doesn't think it's okay to be abusive.
Right here, right.
Get that and then we'll do the therapeutic. Hi, Rebecca, how are you? Nice to meet you.
Right here?
Oh my God. First of all, Stephen has been through so much. He's been very vocal about, helping people and all the things he's been through. I think he's a great example of, a true Hollywood superstar who's shown, nothing but humility and a non-toxic personality. And he's one of the people that I love. To see him last year and hug him, I just had to come here and hug him again. And he really, really puts his money where his mouth is. And I support everything he's about.
I'm a huge fan, obviously, of Steven Tyler, but I just always love when there's a way to kind of mix music with any sort of, thing that's helping out other people, because I think that music can be such a healing tool for people, and I think to be able to celebrate that is just wonderful. So I love lending my support in any way I can.
I just love the fact that he's letting these women know that they have a voice, use it, and then there's always a place to run to, and this is kind of like a home for women that they can go to. So I support this all the way, and I feel like if you ever need anything, you know exactly where to run to.
Well, when I was first introduced to the fund, I honestly cried because I didn't think there was people out there who are actually thinking of me and my sisters. It's a very warm feeling.
And together right here for them.
Both of you right here. It's like the hat.
One more, please. One more over here for the sake.
Here.
But it all really started when Stephen wrote the song, Janie's Got a Gun.
That's where all this came from, and a big heart about caring for a young woman and that was horribly abused, and let the world know what a tragedy is for young women and girls to suffer this level of abuse, and we wanted to do something about it. And he inspired all this. He contacted us, said, I got an idea.
We're raising a lot of money across the country to help girls that are aging out, and we're going to be launching here in LA County in the next 6 months. So we're excited about that.
Yeah, we've got a matchup with a guy in LA named
Bobby Cagle.
Commissioner of Child Welfare, Director Bobby Cagle's here today. He's going to talk about Janie's Fund and how we're going to support young people right here in Los Angeles.
And that's huge. That is so huge.
One of the biggest programs is our YV Life Set program for young people aging out of the foster care system. And there's over 20,000 young people age out every year, and with little support or none whatsoever. And much of the resources from Janie's Fund has gone to support those young women across the country.
He did. That's exactly right. Steven Tyler just called me up. Well, about 10 years ago, I was in my living room. We had just built our house. I got a knock on my door, and a man downstairs said, Steven Tyler would like to see your home. I said, bring him on in. He liked our house, so that's where we met. He just kind of knocked on my door.
And then full circle.
And here I am. And of course, this organization is just amazing. I've been an Aerosmith fan forever, since high school, and I know the song Janie's Got a Gun. And when he came up with this program to help neglected and abused girls, I just think it's an amazingly wonderful thing that he's done, and he's so committed to it. And when you talk to him about it, his eyes light up and his heart fills with love, and you just can't help but get wrapped up into that. So when he asked me to host tonight, I said absolutely, of course.
Over. Go over. Camille, over.
Thank you so much. I'm so thrilled to be here, raising money and awareness of Janie's Fund and all the important work that Janie's Fund does to lift young girls out of neglectful and abusive situations. And with that, about 7 or 8 years ago, I was in the living room. We had just refinished the house and put a new roof on and got new floors and stuff. And the doorbell rang, and I looked downstairs, and this guy said, "Hi, I'm Steven Tyler, and I want to see your roof." So I invited him into the house. He loved the roof, and we became friends. And then fast forward to just a couple months ago, he asked me to host this, and I was just honored to do that. So at this point, I would like to acknowledge the man who is the founder of Janie's Fund, the heart and soul, right at the core of its mission, Mr. Steven Tyler. Let's hear it for him.
I'm deeply honored and humbled to see each of you here for Janie's Fund. Look at this room. I love us. I love us. 1 in 5 girls are sexually abused before they are 18 years old. That means mentally, physically, and emotionally as well. But experts confirm that the abuse is vastly underreported. So it's likely many, many more children are harmed in this way. The numbers that are not reflected in the quote-unquote reported statistics are nothing short of horrifying. Studies have also shown that 80% of women who suffer from drug addiction were undoubtedly abused in their childhood. This tragic fact is what led us all here tonight, hearing story after story during my own treatment for codependency years ago, led to the few simple words, to a melody I plucked out on a piano. Dun, 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 and it just sounded so good. I just started singing a lyric over it, and what came out was Janie's Got a Gun. Why she had a gun, who Janie was, and why she had a gun, I didn't know. I usually come upon a melody, and then I scat over it, as Joe Perry knows, until the words come. This particular melody was a definitive God wink, but it all became clear after the band decided on a music video treatment that was taken literally off the lyrics. for which most videos artists like to try and stay away from. It was obvious to us, however, that there was simply no metaphorical explanation that could show exactly what the song was about. And so, a story was born. A story about a girl and about what happens around the world every 7 minutes. Simply put, this whole event is miraculously wrapped around a so-called Janie's got a gun and the epidemic of abuse in our country.
The work that Janie's Fund is supporting in communities across America is having a profound impact in creating awareness and an important ongoing dialogue into subjects that have often been ignored and dismissed as taboo. In our country alone, more than 68,000 children under the age of 18 will be sexually abused this year. Most will be girls, and many will never speak up, scared, manipulated, and left feeling broken. They'll suffer the pain and oftentimes seek others to escape their hurt and shame that's been thrust upon them from the people that we're supposed to trust. And that is where their voices are taken. This is why it's so important for all of us to speak up, to use our voices and to let these girls know that they are not alone and we have their backs.
Janie got a gun. Janie got a gun. The dog may just begun. Everybody is on the run. What did her daddy do? It's Janie's last IOU.
I'm falling in